The provisional heat of the Chevy Cup at Seafair has been brought to you by your Northwest Chevy dealers. Chevrolet, official vehicle of Seafair.
The rookie comes of age. Young Jeff Bernard establishes his credentials, and this is your Geico photo finish. 15 minutes could save you 15% on your car insurance.
Well, our fans out on the log boom are certainly enjoying their day. They've enjoyed some great racing. They especially like that provisional just a couple moments ago. Our West Marine log boom cam. Thanks so much to them. They're enjoying soaking up some sun. You know, I hope everybody out there is using sunscreen today as we hear a couple of the G-boats heading out for another run here today. Meantime, we've got some awards to give. The Lights B-Main Award. We go to the presentation stage and our John Lynch.
Thanks, Steve. I'm with Grandpa Jerry. I've got two brand new knees hop. The winner of the B-Main and a final heat position for the Mike's Hard Lemonade. Here with the presentation is Rob Graham.
Thanks, John. Yes, I'm Rob Graham, representing Graham Trucking, and I just want to say I was joking with Greg, Jerry's son, yesterday about his dad bailing him out. Looks like he did a good job at it. Nice work, Jerry.
Thank you, Rob, and thanks Graham Trucking for sponsoring the lights races and the trophies. It's really good to have all the support we can get. I'd like to thank my sponsor, Mike's Hard Lemonade, and Happy Go Lucky, our sponsor back east, for all the help that they put in, and also our whole crew and engine builder Ed Trahey. Thank you, Seattle.
No, thank you, Mr. Hop. We appreciate it. Again, part of that family traditionship that is Seafair. And all of a sudden, things went dead. We were just listening. We were listening for the G-boats. We were hoping to go out there and show a little bit of the run around the course here. Well, now we got one back up and going again, sort of.
The G-boats have had a rough go. They really wanted to show what they could do this weekend, and it just didn't work out.
Again, you described it for us. You told us about it earlier in the day, but that seems like about a month and a half ago. But the G-boats are somewhere a little bit between the Unlimiteds and the Unlimited Lights, right?
It's a brand new formula. They're still trying to work out the bugs, obviously. But I think they really are viable in the future. You know, Rob Graham, the advertising for Graham Trucking, drivers needed. I wonder if that includes broken down old hydroplane drivers.
Well, it just might. It just might. It may include a couple of G-boat drivers if we can't get those up and running, because they may not have anything else to do. But this really is. I mean, technology just doesn't change overnight.
No, it doesn't. And this is a new formula. They're trying to figure out how much horsepower to put in these boats. The problem is the more horsepower, the less life of the engine. So you want as little horsepower to go as fast as need be. So they're still trying to work that out. I'm still a little out of breath about Jeff Bernard. I mean, what I saw there is someone that really knew how to handle a boat. And considering that I don't think he's had 20 minutes in a boat in an Unlimited before he got here. And
6 laps before he started to race.
Yeah, I mean, he handled that boat with precision, and that is amazing.
Now, as he said, he was out of breath. He was so excited. Well, he worked so hard probably in handling that boat, and you could see it jumping around a little bit on him. But do you remember your first win ever in an Unlimited? Do you remember how you felt when that was over?
Absolutely. It's just beyond description, because like, you know, Jeff Bernard or J.W. Myers or J. Michael Kelly, I grew up here. I was a kid that came down and watched Bill Muncy and Bill Cantrell and all those guys. And to think that you're actually out here to begin with, and then when you actually get a good result, they're going to have a great night tonight.
He's never driven this boat with this kind of speed and with this kind of
Look at that
precision before, and he's racing against his stepdad. And I mean, we're running real quick in rough water here. He was definitely pushing the envelope, so to speak, long before most rookies would ever have been that fast in those kinds of conditions.
Normally a rookie would give, you know, maybe a lane and a half, 2 lanes to the guy inside tail, because I'm not really sure myself where this boat's going to go. This guy was driving this boat like it, you know, he knew exactly where it was going to go, like he was wearing the boat.
Yeah, he was. And, you know, that's something that takes some drivers a decade or longer before they really get good at it.
Some never get it.
It's true.
Well, and also going against his stepdad. I mean, he could very easily have backed off. To honor my stepdad, I'm going to back off. But the first thing is you're competitive when you're in that boat, right?
Yeah, when you're racing, there's no honor. You're
yeah, In fact, I think it goes the other way. You know, I think it's like, you know, I want family bragging rights.
All right, well, we've talked about the action out on the water. We're seeing some of the action out on the water of a different kind, if you will. The partying continues down here on the lake, and there's lots of action taking place in Stan Sayers' pits. And our Kyle Moore is right in the middle of it all.
There is heavy security here at the gates, but there's a lot of action that takes place behind these gates before these boats ever hit the water. The drivers blast off from the Stan Sayers pits.
They definitely look like they're built to go fast.
The lucky few who have pit passes have an up-close and inside view of all the behind-the-scenes action.
That's great. It's amazing with these huge cranes and all the people. It's been a blast. I like it.
Frank Canada surprised his family and brought them from Tacoma to the hydro pits for the very first time.
It's real cool. The kids enjoy it.
Judging by the smiles on their faces, this surprise trip was well worth it.
I got to see boats up close. They're kind of like monster trucks that go on the water.
Others decided to grab their cameras and made today's trip picture perfect.
They look kind of like Formula One cars.
And not all of the action was taking place on the water.
And I thought I was going to have a lot of fun. It would be cool to see the airplanes and all the boats and ride the ride.
And once the race is over, it's not over for these pit crews. They're scrambling to get these boats ready to race again. Now back to you, Steve.
All right, Kyle, thanks very much. Like a monster truck on the water. That's kind of an interesting description.
That's the best description I've ever heard, actually. We need to sign that woman up. You know, the best thing I think that's happening for powerboat racing right now are these young drivers.
Yeah.
Because what that does is it creates excitement in their teams and their sponsors. And this, you know, people don't sponsor boats. They sponsor people and drivers especially. And I think more than any one thing that's going to propel the sport forward, it's these young drivers out here that are doing so well.
Well, it certainly is always a great part of the Seafair tradition. It makes this big Seafair weekend, as does the KeyBank Air Show, certainly the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair, the hydroplane races, but just the party atmosphere. Let's all come down to the lake. Let's meet with 300,000 of our friends and neighbors and enjoy ourselves, enjoy the big party going on at Genesee Park and all the rest. And we are going to enjoy more from the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair, including a very nice surprise still to come. Don't go away. As we approach the 4 o'clock hour here on this gorgeous Sunday afternoon, welcome back to KIRO 7's live continuing coverage of the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair, along with the KeyBank Air Show at Seafair. The boats are still here. The party is continuing. Steve Rabel, Chip Hanauer, Mike Fitzsimmons, and the legendary Pat O'Day, bringing you all the action here on this Sunday for KIRO 7. Speaking of which, let's head up to the start-finish area where Pat O'Day is standing by with another of his patented observations on this day.
A little boy grew up east of the lake, watching the hydros run here on the lake. Led by his father, Stan, he entered boat racing at an early age and showed immediately desire and discipline and competitiveness. But little did he know that in his body, God had created the perfect, unlimited hydroplane driver. Graduating from Newport High, and he was impressive on the race course from day one. Tad Dean, another Seattle kid, entered an ancient hull that didn't have a chance of winning back in the late 80s. He put behind the wheel an 18-year-old rookie named Chip. And it should have been, I should have said, the late 70s. Well, Chip made a statement that day that got the total attention of the hydro community. On every start he made, he somehow jockeyed himself into the #1 lane and led every heat. He led the Budweisers and the Pam Packs down to that first turn, and he kept leading them for years to come. Next, the driver's seat of the Squire's shop. The sport had a new kind of driver, and his name was Chip Hanauer. And soon he was beating the Bill Muncies and the Dean Chenoweths and the Budweisers, beating them all. And then one sad day in Acapulco, Mexico, his role model, Bill Muncie, was killed. Fran Muncie took over the Atlas Van Lines racing team and put in the driver's seat a young man whom Bill had told Fran should be his replacement should anything ever happen to him. And now you know who that young man was. Chip did Muncie's memory and wishes proud, as the very next year he put Bill's boat, the Atlas Van Lines, in the front, won the Gold Cup and guided the Atlas Van Lines to the national championship. Following that, it was just victory after victory in the Atlas Van Lines, the Miller Beer, the Circus, the Budweiser, and then the Pico American Dream. What's he accomplished? 61 career victories, 12 Gold Cups, and 7 national championships. I think he would have gone to 62 or 63 wins. He stopped out of respect for his mentor, Bill Munsey. Inducted in the exclusive Motorsports Hall of Fame this year with greats like Dan Gurney, Jimmy Clark, Roger Penske, and Mario Andretti. Chip is the first person ever from the Northwest to achieve this honor. And yes, maybe the greatest tribute to Chip is from those who drove side by side with him at 200 miles an hour over the lakes, bays, and rivers of America. George Woods won this race in '92, and he says, you never had to worry when you were on the course by Chip. He always knew where you were. You always felt safe, and you also knew that second place was the best you were going to get. Steve David, that veteran driver, says Chip Hanauer is the consummate professional race driver. I can't imagine anyone ever being better. And so here today, Chip, we want to say how proud we are of you. And thank you for being a gentleman that did his sport proud, a race driver who cared more about the safety of others than winning, and of course, the perfect role model for all young athletes. We today give you our KIRO 7-gun salute. Saluting you, our telecast teammate, saluting you, Chip Hanauer, as the greatest unlimited hydroplane. Chip Hanauer, thank you.
Well said, Pat. Well said.
I don't know what to say. I mean, I just don't know what to say.
Well,
I mean,
you deserve the recognition, my friend, first of all.
I don't know about that. This is one of the nicest things that's ever happened to me, because like Jeff Bernard out here, and that's my hope. I hope that the Jeff Bernards and the J.W. Myers and, you know, the rest of them get to have this little moment that I just had here. I can't tell you really how much it means. I really appreciate it.
You honor us with your presence and your participation every year, my friend.
Been this.
I'm glad we did. Chip Hanauer, our great friend and the greatest driver I personally have ever known. Chip, thank you. Pat, wonderfully done. Thank you. We will be back with more racing and more from our friend as soon as he collects himself right after this. Well, we're hoping Mr. Hanauer has collected himself and will. Golly, that was nice and so deserved. And a lot of people along the shores here of Lake Washington, grandfathers and fathers and sons have come to watch, and daughters too, watch Chip Hanauer over the years and all the other drivers. There's lots going on out here, not just the boat races, of course. When you're a hydro driver, though, remember this, a good strong engine is critical, and it's the same thing if you're on the log boom. It's always one of Seafair's best parties, and this year we sent Richard Thompson to investigate the engine that keeps the log boom going.
Well, to the untrained eye, things out here near the log boom could look a little bit like chaos, but things out here are actually pretty well run and organized, in large part thanks to volunteers.
So we patrol the log boom, we keep the children out of the water, we keep the people 10 feet from their boat while they're swimming, while they're in the water.
Everywhere you look on the log boom, you find a volunteer, most likely from the Seafair Boat Club. For the past 30 years, they've been helping keep the log boom afloat.
The Seafair Boat Club has been essential in supplying volunteers for the Seafair Race Week.
Among their chores, bringing in tons of recycling so boaters can keep Lake Washington clean on race day. They also play a key role in patrolling the water, keeping private boaters in safe areas. It is safe to say, without the volunteers, Seafair wouldn't be Seafair.
The Seafair could not be what it's become today without the volunteers.
And we couldn't show you all the things we've been showing you out here on the log boom today without the help of volunteers. That's because the boat we are on was provided by the Seafair Boat Club. That's it for now on the log boom. We'll go ahead and send it back to you.
All right, Richard, thanks, and hope you're enjoying your time out there on the log boom. We've got some awards to give out. The Provisional Heat winner, and let's go to the presentation stage for that.
Yeah, I'd like to present this trophy to you.
Oh, look at that, we do it again. Welcome to the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair Awards presentation. I'm here with Mike Ward from Chevrolet to present the award for the Provisional Heat.
Thank you. Jeff, great job. I'd like to present on behalf of Chevrolet, the Jeff Barnard and Lake City Paving, the winner of the Provisional Unlimited Heat. Fabulous.
Thank you. Yeah, I just got to thank Fred Leland, our sponsors, Lake Ridge Paving, Big Kahuna, Todd Haas, and the whole crew. They're over there thrashing to get us in the final. We're in the final. One Fred Leland boat made the final. Thank you.
Great job.
All right, Jeff, keep thrashing. We expect to see you there in the final, and we will have that. In fact, we've got the final 2 races of the day still to come right here on KIRO 7. It's the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair. We continue getting set for more racing. The 2 finals, the lights and the unlimited, still to come. And in fact, those lights are pretty much in the water right now. Let's check in with Bill Rocky down in the pits. Rock, are they all set? They ready to go racing?
I think they're ready to go, and I'm on the boat with Kevin Aylesworth. Kevin, it's been a long day for you. You've been sitting all day waiting for this one heat.
You know what? That's the great part about this boat. It's been running fast all weekend, so we got 2 good heats yesterday. So we got to sit around all day and watch everybody else struggle to get in this final. We're looking forward to it. This boat's running fast this weekend.
You got Vince is out. He had some tough luck. Looks like Mike's Hard Lemonade's ready to go. What's it going to take to win this?
You know what? It's going to come down to the start. Mike's Hard Lemonade's a real fast boat. We've been chasing him all year long, but this Vincer Bank boat's ready to go take him on. We went testing this morning and turned in some real fast times, so we're going to go out there and beat him at the start and win this race.
You'd love to win in Seattle, wouldn't you?
Oh, you better believe it. Seattle's one of our favorite places to go. We want to pull off a victory today.
All right, good luck, Kevin. Back to you, Steve.
Bill Rocky, Kevin, thank you. And they'll lock Kevin into his cockpit here in just a second in his light, and he'll be headed out onto the race course, as will the other lights. And we'll get set. We'll watch them race. 6 of the fastest little pocket rockets you've ever seen. The lights finals in just a couple of minutes. Don't go away. Get set. It's time for the Unlimited Lights final here at Seafair. And it's going to be perhaps one of these boats as they take off from the Finger Pier and head out to the waters of Lake Washington. We're about to go racing.
The Unlimited Lights Championship is presented for Seafair by Graham Trucking. Drivers wanted at grahamtrucking.com.
All right, let's take a look at the final for the Unlimited Lights today. It's the Miss Boat Electric, the UL72, Venture Bank, Miss Red Dot Corp, Ms. Zip Fizz Energy Drink Mix, Mike's Hard Lemonade, and the Miss Software Prototype. And when we get to Mike's Hard Lemonade, another chain. We'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes. Under 3 minutes to go. The boats are on the course. Let's talk about the boats and the drivers for this Chevrolet Cup at Seafair Lights final. Beginning with the UL72 and Michael Flaherty at the controls. He's got to be one of the guys considered to beat, Chip.
Yeah, I tell you, if there's one guy that Greg Hopp is worried about, I think it's Michael Flaherty. Greg Hopp even told me himself that he thinks this boat handles better than his own.
The UL5, Kevin Aylesworth, we talked to him a moment ago, also with a second and a first. Mike?
He seems confident, but in the series thus far, he's had a tough time running with the 2 hot dogs.
And let's see if the UL40 boat can reel them all in. That's Harold Mills at the controls, a second and third there.
Harold Mills, another local guy. He's a great race driver. I don't know that his sword is big enough to win this battle, but he'll give it everything he's got.
Steve Hook will be piloting the UL19. Ms. Zip Fizz, I love the name. Can we point to him perhaps in the winner's circle?
It's a promising boat. They've got a lot of work yet to do, and they've been working hard on it. I think they're going to give it everything they've got. We might be surprised.
Mike's Hard Lemonade has made it over from the Provisional. Let's pop Greg Hopp back into the driver's seat, Chip.
I tell you, it's been the Hopp family shell game, but we got Greg back in there now. I tell you what, this has got to be the boat to beat. Michael Flaherty, though, I think is going to give him all he can handle.
And finally, Paul Becker at the controls of the software prototype. A couple of seconds after it did not start, he's also here in the finals.
And that boat was drawn up by the same guy that did Noah's Ark, but this one's much faster. And I got to tell you something. He's had a great race today, and I think he's planning on one more like it.
Bill Rocky, you've been following the lights all weekend long.
Greg Hopp really wants to win this, guys. Last week over in Tri-Cities, he did win, but he got penalized, so he didn't get the trophy. He's got his game face on down here, and I agree with you guys, Michael Flaherty. I think he could be a surprise, and the sentimental choice here got to be Harold Mills.
Look at this jam up right here. There, Michael Flaherty. I think he's fighting for room in there. Look at that. That's called throwing elbows.
They are trading some paint down there, no doubt about that. And there may be a little bit of concern about whether or not folks were giving them what space they are entitled to have if they actually have established a lane. But look what has happened here. We have Flaherty now on the inside.
I tell you what, I hope they don't make a call there, because that's just good boat racing. That's guys trying to make a spot.
All right, let's toss it now to John Lynch as they come around to make a start for the final.
Michael Flaherty's in lane 1. Kevin Aylesworth snuck in there for lane number 2. That pushes Greg Hopp outside in the middle. We also have Steve Hook in the middle. Paul Becker is trying to find a lane as they come down, and Harold Mills is also in the mix. Here they come. Kevin Aylesworth is the orange boat in lane 2. He's got the lead as they come to the start with Greg Hopp right alongside.
Oh, yeah. It looks like a clean start to me. I think Greg Hopp was right on it, but somebody's got a long way to go around there in lane 3.
And Harold Mills is right up there with him as Greg Hopp goes into the turn. Right alongside him on the inside, you've got Flaherty, you've got Aylesworth, and Kevin Aylesworth is working right alongside, now 2 boat lengths back as they come up, and Michael Flaherty right on the inside in 3rd position. Harold Mills back in 4th.
I don't know that they gave poor Michael Flaherty enough room in there. They were really squeezing it down. Greg Hopp slid him over. There wasn't much room in there, but he hung in.
Greg Hopp has the lead in that bright yellow boat. Oh, a little bit of flying that time from that tandem wing boat of Kevin Aylesworth, but that Santee Californian is really gunning at it as they go through the turn. They are side by side at the exit pin. Greg Hopp with a bit of an advantage in the Mike's Hard Lemonade, but Kevin Aylesworth is right there.
Classic example of one guy's got more horsepower, the other guy's got the shorter distance to go around. Let's see which one works.
3 boat length lead for Hopp over Aylesworth. Flaherty and Harold Mills are battling it out for 3rd. Paul Becker and Steve Hook are battling it out for 5th as they go through turn 2.
I tell you what, Greg Hopp was dancing with the devil there in that first corner because he kept moving left, and that didn't give the guy on the inside much room. There could be a call, but look at this race.
Normally, we see Kevin Aylesworth starting in lanes 3 to 6. He went inside of Greg Hopp to take lane 2. He's right in the battle. He's within 3 boat lengths as they're down the back chute, setting up for turn number 2 at the entrance pin. That's the orange boat of Kevin Aylesworth, the yellow boat of Greg Hopp.
You know, we've been talking about young Seattle talent, but this is young San Diegan talent and Kevin Aylesworth. He's been a boat racing fan forever. He grew up in San Diego, and he'd love to win here.
End of lap number 2. It is Greg Hopp leading by 4 boat lengths over Kevin Aylesworth. And in 3rd now, it's Michael Flaherty. Greg Hopp right there coming at you in the front position, but Kevin Aylesworth is still challenging, less than the rooster tail length behind with the shorter distance as you see him right along the buoy line.
There's a great corner right there. The guy on the outside is leaving just enough room for Kevin on the inside. Makes for great boat racing.
Down the back chute, it is Greg Hopp and Kevin Aylesworth as they continue their battle. One of the best races that Kevin Aylesworth has run in his entire Unlimited Lights career. He's just a bit behind Greg Hopp, but Greg, after having a miserable weekend in the Unlimited, he was bound and determined he's going to take the victory here. He's into the final turn.
Kevin Aylesworth, I think, wants to win this, obviously, but I think he's going to be even really happy with the 2nd place, especially one that looks this good.
Greg Hopp at the line. It's Greg Hopp in the Mike's Hard Lemonade. Kevin Aylesworth about 5 boat lengths back as they take the flag.
I tell you what, that's the best job I've seen Kevin Aylesworth do in a very long time. John, you follow these guys week in and week out. Has this been his best performance?
No question about it. Michael Flaherty is now crossing the line. He'll take 3rd. There's Kevin Aylesworth. A terrific run by the diminutive San Diegan. And Flaherty takes 3rd. Harold Mills, what a nice weekend for that group. After they lost their #1 Batman engine, they put Robin in it. Comes away to take 4th place here at the Graham Trucking Cup at Seafair, and coming on to take 5th place, that's going to be Paul Becker right there in the Miss Software prototype as Steve Hook and the Ms. Zip Fizz ran out of the fizz and had no zip left, but made a great start, but not able to finish.
There's the winner.
Greg Hopp, our winner, and he is feeling a whole lot better. Did not finish. That's rare that we see that from the Mike's Hard Lemonade team. So the points battle got very, very close between he and Michael Flaherty. It's now going to be about roughly 300 points difference between Greg Hopp and Michael Flaherty in second position, who took third place here.
Boy, you know, Michael Flaherty did a great job in that first corner because I didn't see that there was a lane in there, but yet somehow he found a place to keep that boat not only running, but running fast. Normally when the lane goes away and you're eating all that water, it's hard to keep going. He did a great job there.
Greg Hopp was there. So watch, you can see him there.
Now watch Greg Hopp. He'll kind of squeeze these guys over here, and that leaves poor Michael Flaherty with nowhere to go. Here comes the squeeze. He's slowly moving left, which he should do. You want to kind of keep those guys, but he keeps moving left. Now there's no place for poor Michael Flaherty to go there. He's in the water. He's trying to find some clear water. He's found some clear water there, but I think it's going to go away from him again when he gets to this buoy. There's barely a lane in there. He just sticks it in there. And watch this buoy here. Boom. Look at that. He's running right up the rooster tail. Michael Flaherty did a great job right there.
Excellent driver from Auburn and an excellent run. Of course, Michael only in his second year of Unlimited Lights competition. As they come back into the pit area, the traditional Hopp family salute with the cap open. Greg Hopp, a really happy camper now with his first ever Seattle victory. Jerry had won here twice, but this is Greg's first ever Graham Trucking Cup and Seafair Championship.
I'll believe it's Greg, actually, when I see Greg, you know. And, John, you mentioned that there was someone in the Hopp family that wasn't made aware that Jerry was driving.
Remember we talked about at the end of the B main, that wave might have been to Mrs. Dorothy Hopp, Jerry Hopp. Nope. Jerry didn't tell her before he went out that he was in that heat. So,
ooh, there could be a couch sleeping tonight.
Well, I think since he brought the boat back, they can probably work it out.
Okay.
But sure. It was, I did get a chance to talk to Dorothy, a great lady, and she said, no, I had no idea. But they didn't have a choice because Greg had to be in the Unlimited Provisional also.
Nothing to be angry about now. Both Hopps come back winners today, and especially in the championship. Greg at the controls with the, as you said, the canopy open salute to the crowd and to the family. And so we have, at least unofficially, another Unlimited Lights final in the books here at Seafair.
You know, that's 4 years in a row, Steve. The Unlimited Lights put on a dandy deck-to-deck kind of a battle. Jerry did it with 4 guys going into the final heat, final lap 3 years ago. And then 2 years ago, we had Dave Bender and Cal Phipps and Jerry and George Woods last year, Jerry and Kevin Aylesworth this year. The Unlimited Lights final are always great here at Seattle.
And I'm really glad that KIRO 7 now is really making the lights a big part of Sunday. We used to kind of feature them on Saturday, and we ran, but now we're really starting to give these guys, look at Greg, he's a happy guy.
It has been a long drought for him as far as winning here. And of course, it's home. He's from Snohomish, and he's always wanted to win here. It was Jerry who would always drive here in the past because Greg was driving the Unlimited. Greg had to do double duty because Jerry's still recovering from the twin knee replacement surgery. But hey, he put it together today. Greg Hopp, his first ever Seattle win.
Well, and if Greg isn't careful out there on the deck of that boat the way he's celebrating, he may end up getting a little surgery himself as he was slipping and sliding around.
I agree with what Chip was saying earlier, too. That was definitely the best drive. Even though he won a race last year, that was the best heat of racing in Kevin Aylesworth's career.
Well, let's go to the dock. Our Bill Rocky has the winner of the Unlimited Lights Championship heat, and that is Greg Hopp.
All right, Greg, great start, great finish, great end to a great weekend for you.
Yeah. You know, we've had a lot of ups and downs this weekend, hurt a motor and stuff. There's Kevin, our second place winner. Come up here for a second, Kevin. Woo! Good run, bud. Good job, man.
Whoa! Little camaraderie down here, guys. Let's go over here. No, anyway, just tell me about the final.
Oh, that was one hell of a race. Kevin just snuck in there. I think we might have hit before the start.
Hey, buddy! Woo! Wait a second, there's another driver in here. Kevin, what did you think of the final?
Oh, man, I'll tell you, that start was something else. Like he said, when we came up, all of a sudden there was 6 boats all going for lane 1. And we had a little bit of orange and yellow swap before the start of the race, and we went through that race. And you left me about 2 inches extra every turn, and I appreciate that because, man, that was a race.
That's all you get, that extra 2 inches, that's it.
After what happened last week over in Tri-Cities, you thought you won, then you didn't. This is even more special, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, that Tri-Cities deal, we probably still, I feel that we deserve that win, but yeah, we'll take Seafair.
All right, guys, a couple pretty happy drivers down here, and what a great win for Greg Hopp.
I gotta practice my woo. You know, I never did that.
I've covered you a long time down in the pits and up here in the town. I remember you wooing.
Next year, you'll hear me.
Really?
It's definitely a Greg Hop thing.
Yeah, but now it's become a Kevin Ellsworth thing.
That too. Oh,
it's
starting to become a lights thing.
You know, for guys who were almost swapping paint down there, they were awful friendly. I would have thought they might have been at each other a little bit.
It's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That was racing the way it's supposed to be. Great racing, swapping paint, as they said, and then come in with a smile and congratulate each other. That's what it's supposed to look like.
You know, that's two guys going for everything they've got. Nobody lost. One guy won.
That's a good way to look at it. That's John Lynch, the voice of Unlimited Lights. And John, as always, a terrific job. We thank you, and we look forward to all that you do for us again next season as Seafair rolls around.
Been my pleasure again, Steve and Chip. Always a great time.
Thanks, John.
All right, we've got much more ahead. Here are your unofficial results from the Lights final. Mike's Hard Lemonade and Greg Hop, the champions at Seafair this year. Stay tuned. Coming up, the big race of the day, the Chevrolet Cup at Seafair, still to come.